Hello everybody, Creative Musings here. So I'm going to show you how to go about doing what is called a crisscross crochet stitch or a cross stitch crochet stitch. There's 3 different ways that I'm going to show you how you can go about doing this. This is actually just a sample of one way that you can do it. This is my favorite because I feel like you can really see the X's better versus the other 2 ways that I'm going to show you. So we're going to start off with this way. This is best worked in rounds, so I did have to modify this a little bit. Then I'm going to show you how I did that, so that way if you don't want to work in rounds and you do want to do this stitch, you can. Okay, so we're going to start off, and I started off already by chaining. You're going to work in multiples of 2s, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to, once you get your desired chain length, you're going to just do one single crochet into each stitch, okay? And then you're going to chain 1, and then in your turning chain just do 1 single crochet, okay? And then the type of yarn that I'm using is size 4, but I think if you work from like a size 4 up, it's best. And I'm also using a size 5.5 millimeter hook. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go right into the stitch. So we're going to insert our hook into the stitch. You're going to want to yarn over, okay? Do not do that. You're going to want to yarn under and then pull through, okay? And then pull on those stitches, because if you don't pull on those loops, that's what pulling on the loops actually helps form that X look. So if you don't do that, you might not get the desired look. So again, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch, because we're not skipping any stitches, okay? And you're going to yarn under, pull through, pull up on your loops, and then pull yarn over and pull through. So this is basically just a single crochet. The only difference is, instead of yarning over after you insert your hook, you're yarning under, pulling through. You're going to pull up on those loops again, yarn, then you can yarn over after you pull up on your loops, and then pull through, okay? And then if I seem like I'm fixing my tension a lot, I apologize. I'm actually holding my yarn a little bit differently than what I normally do, so I do apologize for that. I've been crocheting for 2 years, but this way is still kind of foreign to me, so if it seems like I'm struggling a little bit, that is why. I'm not used to using this, holding my yarn this way yet. So it's a very simple, very easy stitch to do. And I do want to take this time really quickly to just, if you're a healthcare worker or retail worker and you're working out in this crazy, crazy world right now, I just want to say thank you. I recently, this past December, I was able to actually get out of the retail business, but I have worked, before that I worked in the retail business for over 10 years. My whole adult life was nothing but retail. So I totally feel you right now. I know exactly the stress and the crazy pace and the people that you have to deal with. And not to diminish, the healthcare workers, because they are dealing with panicked people. They're on the front lines. They're dealing with people who could possibly, have the virus and just not know it. So both of those people I just want to say a quick thank you, and because like I said, I do know, especially retail workers. I'm in healthcare now, and luckily I'm able to work from home if need be. It hasn't come to that point yet, but it might at some point. Who knows? I don't really know, honestly. All I know is that if I have to work from home, I will have that option, which is great. But you know, if you know, it's just, it's a crazy world out there these days. It really, really is. So what I'm going to do for this last stitch is I'm just going to do a simple single crochet. And the reason being for that is I like to kind of distinguish between the X's. So when I started, I did a simple single crochet, and when I ended, I'm going to do a simple single crochet, okay? And then what I'm going to do next is we're not going to chain anything. We're just going to turn our work. We're going to go into the second stitch. This is the modification I was telling you about. And we're just going to do a simple slip stitch. And I'm going to do that slip stitch for the this whole entire row. Okay? And this is the modification, because if you don't do this, then, whoops. If you don't do this, then, and you just can keep going with the X stitch, you'll find that you'll have X's on not only the front of your work, but the back also. Like every other row will be on the back, which is fine. If that is what floats your boat and that's what you prefer to do, then by all means go ahead and do that. I just prefer to have all of my X's on the front of my work instead of just, you know, instead of every other one. And what this slip stitch does is it basically, it's not gonna add any height to your work, but it's going to I'm gonna pause the video because I need to talk with my husband really quick. My kids are starting online learning today, so I need to go over some things with him, so I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back again. Got everything situated and all that good stuff. So, when you're done doing your single crochets, you're just going to chain one, turn your work, and then into the next stitch, just do a simple single crochet, okay? And then into the next stitch, which I don't want to miss any, okay. And then into the next stitch, you're going to, if I can get my stuff to work right here. Normally I do not have this big of an issue, but like I said, I'm using a different technique to hold my yarn, so I'm crocheting much tighter than what I should be or what I normally do. So again, you're going to insert your hook into your stitch, yarn under, pull up onto those, okay, and then pull through. Go into the next stitch, okay, yarn under, pull up, because that's going to help you create that X look that you want. Yarn under, and then pull up on the loops. And once you pull up on the loops, then you can yarn over, and then that's just the big trick to this stitch, is you're going to yarn under. It's just a simple single crochet that you're doing. The only difference, the only trick to it is, instead of when you pull your hook through your stitch, instead of yarning over, you're yarning under, okay? Alright, and then yarn over, and we're going to go into this stitch, do one, okay, and then I just want to count my stitches really quick because I should have 12, but I feel like I'm definitely losing my gauge here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In my last stitch, I'm just going to do a simple single crochet, okay? Alright, so as you can see it starting to form, we have our row of single crochet, then our X stitch, that slip stitch, and then our X stitch again. And then again, I'll show you how to do the modification. And you're going to go right into this next stitch and just do a simple slip stitch. You could probably, as long as it doesn't alter your stitches, you could chain one and then do the slip stitch into the next stitch. I just learned these stitches yesterday, so, and then after I will show you how to do the other two stitches. And that's all there is to this modification. Alright, again I'm going to count my stitches really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. Now to do this next stitch, I'm going to cut this off so you guys can see the difference. I'm going to just start a whole new. So this is type 1. Alright. Just going to tie this into a knot really quick. Just to tie that off. I think my daughter is the only one who is super excited to do online learning. She's actually on her computer right now working on schoolwork. She was actually really excited to get her laptop. My son, on the other hand, is like, you know, other story. She's 10 and he's 12, so you know how that goes. So this again is one way of doing the stitches. This is actually my favorite way. Okay, you just want to try it when you're doing this. If you're working in a granny, you're going to want to make sure you keep your edges straight, because as you can see, they like to kind of curve. Luckily, when I use this stitch for my daughter's blanket, I'm not going to be doing the whole granny square in this. It's just going to be part of the granny square. So I'm going to show you how to do the next stitch number 2. If I can get my yarn. Okay, so you're going to start with a slip knot. Alright. Start with a slip knot. And then we are going to begin every time I tie my slip knot now, I think of Mikey from the Crochet Crowd, because It's hysterical because all I can think is him saying, "You're not tying down a boat." You know, but it's so true. You want to have that extra room when you do your slip knot. So we're going to work in multiples of 2 for this next one. Actually, we're going to do 2 plus 1. So I'm going to do a total of 13. And the stitch that's on your hook does not count. So I've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to go into, you're going to not count this stitch. You're going to go into the second stitch. So it's not going to be this one, and it's not going to be, well, yeah, it's not going to be this one, it's going to be this one. And you're going to do a single crochet. Alright. And I just want to make sure, that should leave me with 12 stitches, so I just want to make sure really quick that I have 12 stitches here, okay? So again, I'm going to count really quick. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 12, okay. Alright. So after that, what you're going to do after you have your single crochets, you're going to chain 3, and that's going to count as a double crochet. You're not going to go into the chaining hook, and then you're not going to go into this next stitch. You're actually going to go into this. So I guess you could consider it the third, but if you're not counting this stitch and you're just ignoring it completely, it would be your second stitch. And you're going to do 1 double crochet. Alright, then we have to go back into our stitch that we skipped. So we're going to go, and sometimes I find it helps to put my finger right on that stitch. You're going to pop that stitch out, and then we have 3, so 1, 2, 3 loops, and you're just going to do a normal double crochet. You're not going to, this is the stitch we were just in that we worked, so again we're going to skip a stitch, go into that next stitch, and then you're going to do a normal double crochet, and then we have to go back to the stitch we skipped. And if it helps to pull your work apart, then go ahead. It's not going to hurt it any, it'll bounce back. You're going to yarn over, pull through, and then just do a normal double crochet. Okay. And then again, that's the stitch we were just in, because you can see it's attached. Okay, so you're going to skip a stitch, go into this next one, just do a normal double crochet. Okay, so again, we were just in this stitch, as you can see, because it's connected. So we're going to skip. So we're not going to be going into that one. We're going to skip this stitch. We're going to go into this next stitch and do a normal double crochet. Alright, and then we have to go back into the stitch that we skipped. So we have to go into that one. 1, 2, 3. Just do a normal double crochet. Okay, again, that is the stitch that we're just working in. We're going to skip this one, go into this one down here, and just do a double crochet. And then this is the stitch we skipped, so we're going to go in here, go into that. Alright, we have 3 loops on our hook, and we're just going to do a normal double crochet. Okay, and then if you can see, this is also a stitch, so I'm just going to do a normal double crochet into this stitch. Alright, and that's just going to keep everything nice and even. And I don't know if you can see that, but that is, we have our single crochet, then our X's. So again, we're going to turn our work. Actually, we're going to chain 1. We're going to do, we're going to go into this one, and we're going to do a single. We're going to do a single crochet. For this next row, you could do single crochet, half double crochet, really doesn't matter. According to the gazillion videos I watched, it all seems like they pretty much have the same consensus that it's not really going to matter. You're just going to go down the row and do a single crochet. And then I just want to count my rows really quick, because I should still have 12, so I just want to see, because I want to make sure I'm keeping my edges as straight as possible. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I need to do one more. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so and then again, we're gonna do another. I'm gonna do one more row of these just so you can see the pattern. So 1, 2, 3. We're not. Let me fix my tension just a little bit. We're not gonna go into this stitch here. We're not going to go, because that's considered the turning stitch, the turning chain, part of the turning chain. That's a double, counts as a double crochet. We're going to skip this, and we're going to go into this one. Okay. Alright, and then we have to go back into what we skipped. Okay, so to do that, just kind of turn your work and make it the back of it facing you. Insert your hook, pull through, and then just do a normal double crochet. Okay, and you're not going to chain any in between the X's. Okay, all you're going to do, again, as you can see, this is connected, so we're not working into that stitch. This one needs to be skipped. We're going to go into the next stitch and just do a normal double crochet. Alright, and then this, working. All right, and then again, you're just going to do a normal double crochet. All right, skip a stitch, go into the next one. Just do a regular double crochet, go into the next stitch that you skipped, which sometimes it helps because obviously looking at all those stitches, I just like to it can be kind of confusing, so I like to put my finger in back there just so I can tell where my stitch was, and then just do a normal double crochet. Alright, and that's really what you're going to do for this. So skip that stitch, go into that one, regular double crochet, and this can get a little interesting to get used to, I guess is the best way to put it, because you're working, so again, and you're not like how you normally would. So again, we worked in that one, so we're not going to work in that one. We're going to skip this one, and then we're going to go into here. And then we're going to go into this. Just do another normal double crochet, and we were just in this stitch, so we're going to go into this one, yarn over, and just do a normal double crochet. And I just still want to count my stitches just to make sure I have 12, because we should have 12, and it's just going to help keep everything nice and even on the sides here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Okay. So now what you're going to do is I'm just going to show you how to do the chain in between the X's really quick. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're just going to do a simple slip stitch, or nope, sorry, single crochet. Just because it's fast and easy, you can use any type of stitch you want. Alright, and again I'm going to count just to make sure I have 12, just to make sure that's nice and even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have to do one more, and that'll be nice and even. 12. Oops. Might help if I do the correct stitch. So we're going to do a single crochet. Alright. Okay. So that is what sample 2 looks like, which I'm going to show you. Tie this in. Alright, so we have sample 1, sample 2, and then we will work on sample 3 now. Okay, So I'm going to pause the video and get my chain going. With this, you're going to chain, with sample 3, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to chain in 2s plus 1. So keep doing rows of, keep doing multiples of 2 until you get your desired length, and then add 1. So I will be right back. Alright, so what you're going to do after you get your multiples of 2 plus, and then adding 1 at the end, you're going to do a simple single crochet all across, 1 single crochet in each chain. That should end you with an even number of stitches. Leave you with an even number of stitches, I should say. So I did 13 total, but obviously with my single crochet that leaves me 12 single crochets, because when you do your single crochet you're going to go into the second stitch from the hook. Okay, and then what we're going to do is, this is actually very similar to the other that we just did. You're going to chain 3, turn your work. You're not going to count that turning chain. You're going to skip this next stitch, and you're going to do 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches after you skip that first stitch, okay? Alright, so it's going to look like this, basically. And then we have to go into the stitch that we skipped, which was this one, right here, if you can see. So this one's a little bit easier to do. You're just going to yarn over, and then you're going to go into, from the front, you're going to go into the stitch that you skipped. And you're just going to do a normal double crochet. Alright, and you're not going to chain anything. Again, this is, if you can see, we've already worked that in. So we're going to skip this stitch and go into this next stitch and just do 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Okay, then we have to go back